bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. How you doing? Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Man, oh man, today's Monday, February 27th. We're 58 days into the new year, just 307 days left. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I think we pulled it off, as I slobber. I think we pulled it off. We should, right now, have the live video feed right now in the membership area. That should be going good. And I think we're good. So with that, I'm just going to do the show. Tonight, we have very special guest. James Gilliland is here from the ECETI Ranch. He's coming to us live from Hawaii. Tomorrow night, very special surprise guest. We're going to announce that tomorrow. We're posting it as a TBA. Wednesday night, Gavin Kelly's going to be here from the Phantasmic Ghost Hunters. Thursday night is Fader Night with John Rappaport. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. We'll be taking your phone calls tonight. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. Facebook, YouTube, everything is Fade to Black, Jimmy Church Radio. You know what to do. Go follow, like, and subscribe. Head over to the website. Click on those funny little buttons. The Sandbox. I'm looking at it here. You can see me live. I'm looking at the Sandbox. Got the live gifts going. Just let me know how the live feed is going on the website. Should be there. All right? Everything should be good. So I'm just going to move forward and not worry about things. We have people working behind the scenes on all of that. So let's just go. Let's do the show. You can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. With the membership area, also, you have that secret church email. All right? So you've got that. I have those coming into me in the live feed as well. The Sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. And any questions or comments during the show, now that we have the live feed and you guys are looking at me. So right here is hashtag F2BQ. Got that right there. Hashtag F2B is right here. My personal column is right here, right in front of me, so you can actually watch me read the Twitter feed as we do the show. Okay. Subscribe to our podcast. Yes, we do have multiple ways now to listen to the show. We have the podcast. So if you want the podcast, it's inexpensive, $2 a month. There you go, 600 archive shows, custom apps, Android and Apple. You can go there. You can also go to the membership area. More on that in just a minute. And all of those audio files are commercial free. Okay, and we have different ways and different levels of membership, so you can go there. That, that's for you. The Fader Knots have been asking for that for a while, so it's our way to give back to you. And then we also have the live bunker cam, which is in front of me and running. Okay? All right. Check out all of our sponsors, our banners, over at jimmychurchradio.com. That's how this show runs. It runs with sponsors and commercials. Okay, so please support our sponsors. They love the Fadernauts. They love this show, and this is a family thing. So please go and do that. River Moon Coffee, Studio Dome, Life Change Tea, all of the promo codes that you need are in the banners. So just go and click and go and support the show. Okay, coming up in May 19th through the 22nd is Contact in the Desert in Joshua Tree, California. Tickets and info are over at jimmychurchradio.com. We've got a couple of contests that are running for Contact in the Desert. This year's speakers do include George Norrie, Graham Hancock, Jacques Vallée, Robert Bivall, Robert Schock, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Jim Mars, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Dolan, Andrew Collins, Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, David Sereda. Upcoming shows will include, we've got David Sereda coming in. We've got Stephen Greer coming in. We've got Michael Tellinger will be upcoming. So we've got a lot of really great stuff in store for you over the next couple of weeks. We are giving away passes. There is only one entry per person, everybody. So just go to our website, click on the contest banner, and enter, right? The pass is non-transferable. So if you win a pass and you can't go to Contact in the Desert, you've entered, you want to see if you can win, and you did win, that's cool, but you can't go, all right? Let us know so we can turn around and do another drawing and get somebody that can make it out to Contact in the Desert, all right? That's called being a Fadernaut in the Fadernaut family. Thank you and good luck to all of you. With that, let's get this show cracking. All right, today, Josh Groban is 36. Whatever happened to Josh Groban, man? He was like the dude there for a minute, wasn't he? Is he still out there? Josh Groban, great singer. Great singer. Kate Mara today is 34. Now, Kate made the list because she played Zoe Barnes on the show House of Cards. She was the reporter that started dating Kevin Spacey, right? Kevin's running for office. She was uncovering stuff, got too close to the fire. They had their little secret relationship going, and then she gets pushed onto the subway tracks and killed by Kevin Spacey. That's who. And she had a great role. You knew that was coming, though, right? Man, House of Cards just doesn't hold back. The new season's going to kick off here too soon. I'm pretty excited about that. But she played Zoe Barnes. All right, Kate Mara. That guy's birthday today is Elizabeth Taylor. 1932 to 2011. Died at the age of 79. Yeah, 11 films with Richard Burton. She owns some of the biggest and most famous gems in the world, including the 33-carat Krupp diamond. She had 7 husbands, made her motion picture debut at the age of 9. She hung out with Michael Jackson. All of that, right? She was all of that. She was Liz. But for me, she will always be Cleopatra. There you go. Happy birthday to Elizabeth Taylor. On this day in history, OTD. It happened in 1980. Check this out. I Will Survive, you know, that huge disco song, wins the first and last Grammy for Best Disco Recording. They only did that for 1 year. Unbelievable. Fader fact, in 2005, a fortune cookie company got the lottery numbers right in 2005, resulting in 110 winners and an investigation. The 1 in 3 million combination, which was 22, 28, 32, 33, and 39, came from the Wonton Food Factory in Long Island, Queens. It's that's a fader fact. Now, the final number that they got wrong, Wonton said 40. That would have been a huge Powerball windfall, right? The actual number was 42. They got that wrong. 42, the secret of the universe. How crazy is that? That's a fader fact. All right, tonight we have James Gilliland here of ECETI Ranch. Tomorrow night, A very special surprise guest. Can't wait to announce that, but we're going to do that tomorrow. Wednesday night, Gavin Kelly of Phantasmic Ghost Hunters. Thursday night is Fader Night with John Rappaport. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Got to hit this River Moon coffee. See, I really do this live on the air. Now that we have a studio cam. All right. Well, today I'd like to talk to you about the last 24 hours of my life with you. But before we get to that, let's back up to last Thursday, which was Fader Night, and it was a great show. Great calls all night long. It was an amazing show. And Fader Night ends a week of shows, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's a very long week, right? And last week, we did the launch of our membership area and all of the work that was involved with that. It was crazy. And yes, I do want to thank everybody that has joined the family. Totally amazing. But then Thursday ends, I wake up Friday, and I'm off over to Coast for Friday night, which means I'm working all day getting ready for Coast to Coast, and then I work until 2 a.m., and then all day Saturday, get up after working at Coast, and I got to work all day Saturday. And then I got to do Coast to Coast Saturday night until 2 a.m. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I want to talk to you about the last 24 hours. But to do that, I got to talk about all of last week with everything that we were doing here. Because this thing, this Fade to Black thing, is a 24-hour-a-day job. It never stops. So I'm over at Coast Saturday night until 2 a.m., which brings me to yesterday, which was Sunday, and the last 24 hours. Do you get what I'm saying here? Last week was an endless week of 24-hour-a-day days with the membership area and shows and production and everything that we do, and then turn around, and when you think there's time off here, there's not. I'm overworking at Coast. And that winds up being an all weekend thing. Takes me to yesterday. You see, there is no real time off over here. And it doesn't really exist. The time off that you have isn't the time off that we have. Fade to Black is 24 hours a day, every single day. And any time off involves another radio broadcast somewhere. It involves the History Channel. We're shooting somewhere. We're doing something, seriously. And then yesterday, we had one day to work. We had one day to work on the bunker cam, computers. We had to book guests. We had to prep artwork. We had to get the website ready. Then there's dealing with phone calls and email and YouTube and software and cables and stores and testing and running around. And we only had one day to pull it all off. So let me explain to you this last 24-hour run. First, yesterday, after working at Coast and getting home at 3 a.m., getting up yesterday morning, I had to go out and get another laptop from Fry's, our local electronics store, and that is for the bunker cam, we're calling it. That had to get configured. So you bring that over to the bunker here and configure it, wire it into the system, get video cameras installed, the audio feed. All of that has to happen. And to do this, first, you need to get an encoder installed on the laptop. And you need that for the video first before that gets sent out. So all of this has to get configured on the front end, right? So we get all of that done. And then we have to then get Drew involved and get the encoder and everything through onto the website. Now, once we pulled all of that off, we found out that the laptop didn't work. The laptop had issues. We plug in a few things, and then the next thing you know, the laptop has got this crazy ground hum in our entire system here at the bunker, right? Plugged in an Ethernet cable, and it set things off. I was like, what's going on here? There's something crazy going on with the laptop. Then check the audio, and the audio even got louder. So there was some kind of ground hum going on with this laptop. After we configured this thing for hours, right? So we have to pull it out of a chain. It's a serious problem. Pull it out of a chain, put in another laptop that we had here in the bunker that we use for something else. Then for a test, you have to turn around and install the encoder, the cables, the video cameras. All of that took hours, and that was yesterday. And while getting this done, everything else still has to get done. The website, the writing, the booking, the bios, artwork. It's just, you have to eat, right? And all of this is going on at the same time. We knew that the video feed was good. The new laptop, or the alternative one, no ground hum, there was no issues there. So we knew that we had the signal chain correct and configured, getting it onto the website. But that means we've got a bad laptop. And we wasted hours and hours yesterday getting this done. So had to box up the new laptop and get that ready to get returned. Today is a show day, folks. It's a show day. And on a normal show day, we get to the bunker. There's writing that has to be done. There's all of the social media that has to be done. Phone calls returned, email, websites, everything that is involved with the show day, news and prep. All of that has to get done, and that's a normal day. But not today. We had to get the bunker cam done. So back to Fry's, exchange the laptop, back to the bunker, started to install it. And as we're doing that, which is cables and software and encoders and registrations, and all, it just takes a while. Our main computer went down, the one that's sitting right underneath this bunker cam. There's a bunch of monitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sitting in front of me coming around here. This one went down, and it was having issues. So I thought that, it needed to be dusted out or whatever. I pull it out and I dust it out and plug it all back in and mount it again. It doesn't fire up. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Meanwhile, the laptop for the bunker cam is getting configured. I got to call up this is my 24 hours, man. I've got to pull out the main computer. I had no blue screen of death, nothing like that. It was just the monitors were shutting off and the computer was shutting down and restarting. But it wasn't giving any indication of what's going on. So I had to pull out, disconnect all the cables, audio, Ethernet, 2 monitor cables, multiple USBs, and get all of that, and it doesn't start. After all of that, it's shut down. After everything that I've gone through. So now I've got to uncable that, pull it back out, get my computer guy on the phone, and that was at 3:30 today. 3:30. Gosh, the show is live at 7 o'clock, and I don't even know if I've got video running yet. The new laptop, I get that. It's updating. I call my computer guy. He's available. I grab the main computer. I jump in the car. I head over to his shop. Go in there. It gets reset. It's now working. I'm back in the car. Get to the bunker by 5 o'clock. The show is at 7. I've got to reinstall. The bunker is torn down. I mean, everything is being rewired in here to get the video cameras and lights and oh my goodness, just insanity. All of this, and as a matter of fact, I'm looking over here. I don't want to see any blank screens. Showtime is in 2 hours. I install the main computer, which means multiple monitors, all of the audio, USBs, everything else that is involved with that, audio in and out. It works. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. All good. But the new bunker cam is still updating. And I'm watching it. It's at like 8%. It had to cycle through Windows 10 like 3 times on updates. It took 3 hours for this laptop just to get to the point where we could test it. That was at 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m., it stops updating, and it's now ready. So now we fire in the video cameras, and we get the audio in and out, and we're all ready to go. We're all ready to test. The video is flying. It's looking good. I've got no audio. At 6:30 tonight, after testing all of that, I've got to sound check James Gilliland, and it's just a complete stress fest. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. So at 20 till 6 or 20 till 7 tonight, Rita comes out of her studio. She comes down into the bunker and says, that's it. Swap out the computers, put this one on that one, put this one. I'm like, wait a minute. Why don't we just not do video? She goes, we're doing video. The Fadernauts deserve video. Get it right. Get it done. She storms out of the bunker. I go back. I have to then reconfigure the computers. We swap them out. I swap out the cables. I install encoder software, test, run, boom. It works. Everything works. I call Drew at 12 minutes till 7. We got video. Run with it. I don't know what's happened. Just run with it. I think we're good. There you go. That was my last 24 hours, folks. And we do it. I am serious. It is so easy for us to just go, you know what? Let's fix this tomorrow. Let's do this later. Let's not stress. No. We did everything that we could today to make sure that the membership area was correct, that the guest is booked, that the website is updated, that we're responding to your emails, and we're there for you on Twitter, and everything is perfect. That's what it's like to get a day done here. All right? There is no rest. And here we are at 7 o'clock. Boom, the show must go on. And hopefully, now, don't you miss the dark? So, really quick, I haven't even looked at, in my little rant here, I haven't looked into Twitter. Is the video good? Are we good? Please send me an email, post in Twitter. I've got people calling, and the phone lines are lit. No, I'm not doing any phone calls until a little bit later. So please let me know that after all of this effort and everything that we have done, that the video was cool, the audio is cool, everything is brilliant. And that was my 24 hours here. All right. Now, that being said, now I can move on a little bit. A few things over the weekend. Okay, let me back up. With everything that Corey Good had said Friday night on Coast to Coast, and Jim Mars on Saturday night, I got a bunch of email about fake news, and that people are actually thankful to have been opened up to the possibility that not only Fox and the mainstream media and CNN and the other stuff out there are fake. Now, the point to all of this is, for everybody, and somebody is starting to take the bait here, is the way that Trump is attacking the media. And Trump is banishing this and that. This isn't a Trump thing right now. The one thing that this country has always been based on is freedom of the press. And it's up to us as an audience. It's up to us as citizens of the United States to figure out who we want to go to for our news. Who do we feel that we can trust? Who is it that best represents us? There has always been, and I need to stress this, there has always been a variety of newspapers out there. There's always been a variety of networks that have their own version and their way of covering things. All right? And we've always been used to that. You know, and not only with the mainstream, but, you know, you go off to Public Address or NPR, tabloids, magazines. There's always been alternative views on everything. And that was the main point of not only our Constitution, but the ability of our press to stay on top of the government. That's the press's job, to monitor, to report at any view, any way, and go at it. And if we start to accept that it is okay to shut down the press, that it is okay to talk bad about the press. It is okay to look. The reason why I don't go to the mainstream media is because I don't want to watch beheading videos with ISIS. I don't want to see that. I don't want to get depressed. I don't want the bad news. But the press does its job on monitoring. And if Washington doesn't like the criticism of what is going on, they have to understand that has always been there. That criticism of Washington has been there since 1776. There has always been political cartoons and criticism, laughing, jokes of the current administration. That's the way it's always been. And if you can't stand that heat, then you've got the wrong job. But shutting down the media, that is heading towards a direction that nobody in this country wants to go into. And for me to get these emails over the weekend about just that, I'm starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. Are you actually okay with shutting down the media, that everything is fake? That's not the point. You don't have to read it. But to have our government turn into the Big Brother shutdown watchdog guy, that is a very, very dangerous zone. There is a need in this country for a guy like Alex Jones. There is a need in this government for O'Reilly. There's a need in this government, or in this country, with the media, with Wolf Blitzer. You don't have to like any of them. You don't. You can like them all. It doesn't matter. But the point is, you can't shut any of them down. You can't do it. And you cannot talk negative about it. It's the one thing that our founding fathers put in place, which is absolute freedom of the press. Okay? That's it. Access to everything, because that's part of our checks and balances here. And it's what makes this country great. It's what allows me to be on the air, not only here, but on television and other radio outlets. That very fundamental freedom is what makes us Americans, and we need to be very careful with all of that. So, with that, let me see here. I've got all these computers today. I got all of these computers. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I think we are good. This is Fade to Black. Is the cam running? I hope that it is. I hope that I'm live. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with James Gilliland. You stay right there. ECETI Ranch. Great conversation straight ahead. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'll be right back with James Gilliland.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletzky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fader-Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Very excited. James Gilliland. He is a best-selling author. He's an internationally known lecturer, minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, and he's a contactee. He is recognized worldwide as the founder of the Gilliland Estate, previously referred to and commonly known as ECETI Ranch, where he documents and shares amazing multi-dimensional contact phenomena. Now, his books include Reunion with Source, Becoming Gods, and The Ultimate Soul Journey. He is the host of the documentary Contact Has Begun and has been featured on His Story, the History Channel, UFOs Then and Now, UFO Hot-spots, ABC, Fox News, BBC, Danny Dyer specials, and Paranormal State. He's a speaker at tons of events around the country, the International UFO Congress, of course, Contact in the Desert, and the Star Knowledge Conferences. His website is ECETI.org, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, James Gilliland. James, how are you tonight?
Oh, doing great. I'm actually in Maui right now, but we've got a massive storm coming through, so it's not all sunny and beaches right now.
Well, you know, I said to you earlier this week, I want to be James Gilliland. Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny. It was like, so where are you, man? Well, I'm in Hawaii. And I'm like, oh, dude, you know, here in, you know, what's really funny, James, right now in Los Angeles, and I was talking about this over the last few days. Here in Los Angeles, it's actually cold, like really cold, right? Windy and gray, and it's like a black and white netherworld out here right now. And the rest of the country is starting to thaw out. And normally it's like that here in Los Angeles, but nope, you're out there in Hawaii, and we're here freezing in Los Angeles. You know, it's just weird, just a weird thing. So, all right.
It's actually cold here too. It's been much colder than usual. And I saw people walking around with like down jackets on here because they weren't used to this kind of cold weather coming through. But there's definitely climate change going on. You know, I don't believe in global warming, but I know there's definitely, you know, climate change happening on a grand scale. Yeah.
And do you have your headset on?
I do.
Huh. Tap on it. No, it's not activated. Okay, it was. I'm going to let everybody know. In sound check, we were fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll work on that during the break, or you can do it in real time. It doesn't matter.
It might work now. How's that?
No, it's still the same. But like I said, we'll get to it.
Okay.
I want to start here with the history of ECETI. I remember years ago, man, a long time ago, when you were calling into, you were guests on different radio programs and talking about the phenomenon that was going on up there, and the videos and Mount Adams and how things were coming in and out and high speed. And I went and started looking at those videos, and I was blown away. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Now, since then, as you know, I've had my own experiences with night vision, and we're going to discuss that in a second. But how did this all kick off up at ECETI? Was it the chicken or the egg? Did you get the ranch because of the phenomenon, or did you get the phenomenon or get the ranch and then start to witness the phenomenon? How did this get started?
Well, it's kind of like, a lot of people, it was like a field of dreams. They said, if you build it, they will come. And I used to tell people what they really meant is if you build it, you were dumb, because nobody showed up. I was out there for 30 years, building this ark out in the middle of a 70-acre ranch, trying to build this retreat. But, little by little, people started coming, and then I finished the books, and I got those out. And the more I got out and talked about it, and the more footage that I showed, the stronger and stronger it got, So, people just kept coming over, and now there's probably hundreds of thousands of people that have come to the ranch over the past 30 years.
And what do you think is the reason for it? Is it Mount Adams? Is it the surrounding countryside? Is it you? I mean, what's the reason for it?
Well, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing, which came first. I've been having contact all my life, and my family's been involved in Roswell and things like that. And my grandmother knew the first responders in Roswell, and they have no doubt, what happened there. And my dad, UFOs used to follow my dad around quite a bit, and he'd pull the car over and tell us to get out of the car, and we'd look up, and there'd be like 5 ships, flying overhead. So I think I was gravitated to that place to build this retreat center because of the contacts happening there. And it's a vortex. It's a very high consciousness and energy vortex there. So it's, in a way, I was guided there to kind of hold space and, be a liaison or an ambassador between the different realms there.
What do you think do you think it's a combination of, and I'm going to get to specifics in a second, but do you think it's a combination of our technology that is there, right? Us using advanced, technologies that we don't know about, and ET? Is it both going on, and how would you differentiate between the two?
Well, definitely, we have our secret space fleet, and they're pretty busy doing other things. I don't think it's on their plate to come over and do dazzle duty over the ranch. But the ships that have been coming over the ranch, according to like triple PhD Boeing engineers and Skunk Works people that have seen the ships, and they've actually testified on Coast to Coast. I brought them on to testify. They said these aren't ours. They've never seen anything like it. They can morph from 1 to 3 or 4 ships and then go back to one ship again and, phase in and out whenever they want. A lot of them don't really fly. A lot of them just jump, to where they need to be. And they're far beyond our technology.
I have talked to a couple of witnesses up there, and certainly recently as well, that think that they're also seeing like aurora or other high test equipment that is going across the sky at blazing speed. And do you think that is also something to do with maybe a connection to ET? Why would they be test flying these Mach 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 planes right over your ranch?
Yeah, I think they have more important things to do. But, basically we do have, the computers out, and we have Heavens Above and the J-Tracker site. And so we know what's up there, what all of the known satellites, all the visible satellites. And there could be some things up there that are ours. I see these things that have like a ramjet engine on them, and they pulse, and that's the way they fly. And I think that's some of our technology up there. It's a combination. But I think overall, most of what we're seeing at the ranch are, they're huge, they're silent, they come half treetop level. When they power up, they pulse their ships and they power up the ship, and you feel the energy coming off the ship, and it actually pulses your heart. You can actually feel it, and people get higher than a kite when that happens. They get all giddy and everything. So these beings that are on these ships are very, very advanced beings. Far beyond anything that we have up there.
Now, I've seen a lot of video, a lot of pictures of everybody up at the ranch where they, get the lawn chairs together. The sun's starting to go down, right? Mm-hmm. and they sit and they're waiting for the show to start. Is there ever an evening that you get disappointed where there isn't stuff going on, or does this go on 365 days a year? Are you guaranteed to get your lawn chair, get a cool drink, and be able to see something?
Well, I would say 99% of the time you're going to see something you can't explain up there. But if we sometimes get cut out by weather. It might be pouring rain or we've got a snowstorm going on. So those days you just have to write off, because you can't really see much, during those days. But if you've got clear skies, I mean, you have a huge chance of seeing something that you can't explain. And I've seen, a slow night will see maybe 12 or 14 UFOs that are undeniably, doing things that aren't a satellite, and they're nothing, nothing known. But I've seen as many as 200 ships, a night up there, and we just stopped counting after a while. We got tired of counting. Now, when we have the conferences up there, we'll have 200-300 people there, and that's when it gets real busy. They really put on a show, and they'll come in a lot of times, below the treetops with these massive light ships, and they'll pulse the crowd, the group, and really make themselves known.
You just said something pretty remarkable. A slow night is 12, right?
Yeah.
That's insane to me. And for the audience, for the audience out there that doesn't quite understand what we are saying here, it is a remarkable thing to get out there with night vision and other, binoculars and telescopes and look up into the sky and see these objects that are obviously not a helicopter. It's not a jet aircraft. It's not anything that you have ever seen before with your eyes. And you are able to just sit and witness this. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, we had a physicist there. I'll never forget this guy. And he said, you know what? He goes, as far as I'm concerned, these are all satellites. And it was very early in the evening when he came out. And I go, that's interesting. And he said, I'll believe this when one of them stops and goes back the other way. And right after he said that, we were watching a pretty large object come in, and it stopped and it went back the other way. So they're very telepathic. They're very tuned into who's on the ground, and they will interact with you. But it's really good to go there with an open mind, a loving heart, and pure intent, and then you have amazing experiences. But if you go there with the kind of a negative program, it just messes it up for you and the others as well sometimes. How do you have,
I want to get to some specific things here, but you have so many people that come up and visit the ranch. What are the accommodations like, and how do you take care of everybody? Are they staying at hotels locally, or how many people can you accommodate at the ranch?
Well, we have about 8 rooms there that we use. And then we also have camping, and we have really nice bathrooms that have showers and really nice sinks and things in them, and toilets. So it's not like camping, but it's a 70-acre ranch, and a lot of people just, bring a tent, or they just throw a sleeping bag down and stay up all night and watch the ships. And so there's restaurants in the area, there's hotels, close by in the area. There's all kinds of things that people can organize.
And you can do that through the ECETI website, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just go to ECETI.org, and you can find out more about that.
Now, as you know, the entire world knows about what happened at Contact in the desert last year. And that amazing sighting. And you and I have talked about it before, but I want to address this specifically as to what is going on up at ECETI. What I saw was a green chrome ball that was about a mile away, or it was about 2 miles away. Obviously large. I don't know if it was 100 feet in diameter. I'm kind of going with that as a round number. Maybe it was 100 feet, but it was 2 miles away. And for me to see it, it was big, right? Okay, so let's just say 100-foot green chrome ball that started off at the side of this mountain, probably 1,000 feet off of the ground, kind of goes across the desert floor and then slowly just turns up, and then just goes a couple of 100 miles out into the atmosphere, becomes a star, and that took about 5 minutes. It stopped and then turned left and is gone into the solar system. That is what I saw. It's what everybody saw at Contact in the desert. Is that something that, when you hear that story, is that something that you have witnessed at ECETI?
Pretty much on a regular basis. I don't know if you remember, but when that happened, there was also some blue ones that came in as well. I don't know if you saw them.
Right.
Yeah. But I finished my talk right at 9 o'clock, and I told people to go out and watch the skies. The ships are here. I told them they're here, and it happened right after 9.
Yep.
When those ships came in. So
that's right.
It was. I could totally feel them. I was having contact with them, and I knew they'd be out there at the time. And I've done this redundantly. I've done it at the International UFO Congress. I gave exact times and dates to go out and look and where to look. And we do it at the ranch all the time. We'll tell people, at 10 o'clock, have your cameras facing in the east. And sure enough, right at 10 o'clock, I did it with Paranormal State as well. And they actually, on the air, they said, wait a second. They said, James did say 10 o'clock in the east. And they asked the guy, what time is it? And he said 10 o'clock. And we had a massive ship come in and power up and then fly around the mountain to the backside of the mountain. So it's an ongoing thing. And I think it's kind of ridiculous when somebody says, when are we going to have contact? I ask people, where have you been? It's
right.
We've been having contact for 30 years, and humanity's been having contact way even before the Egyptian time. And the bottom line basically is they're our ancestors.
Who are they? And the question that I get, James, when I talk about this story, and I'm not tired of telling this story. I will tell it for the rest of my life, because it was a pretty incredible event. But what I don't know is what I saw. Right? I know what I know what I saw, but I don't know if it was us. Right? Some kind of crazy technology that the government has. Yeah. I don't know if it was ET. I didn't have any communication with them. Who do you think that was? What do you think it was that I saw?
I could look into that, but I was having contact with both the Orion Council of Light and the Pleiadians. And, it's interesting. It probably was either one of them. They all work together. There's some ships that have a collective. It's like a galactic federation type thing, and there's a collective of beings on them. And sometimes you get up in the big motherships, it's not just humans on these ships. There's humanoid felines and all kinds of different beings on these ships that most people just aren't ready for. I mean, they can't deal with the different cultures here and the different races here. What are they going to do when a being shows up that is 17 feet tall and a lion being or something like that? It's a seventh dimensional being. They're not ready for that. So it's kind of tough, but people are starting to wake up.
When something like this happens, so what you're saying is, if you were with me that night with everybody else, through this experience, you could have made contact with who was in that green sphere and found out who they were.
Yes, we do that quite often at the ranch because we have a lot of the ships that'll come in will be like a pinkish color. They have a pinkish tint to them, and those are usually the Pleiadian ships when they come in. And then the gold ships are usually the Sirians or the Orion Council of Light, are usually have a gold color to them. And then there's a lot of other ships out there, different groups out there that have different types of ship, and a lot of it depends on their propulsion system because when they're close to the Earth and they're in our fields, they're going to use kind of an orange energy that keeps them up. When they're in space, they'll go shift to a white or blue, sometimes a purple energy when they're flying. So there's so many different ships, and it depends on what phase they're in when they're flying.
Yeah, I just watched Twitter here light up when you said line being. Let's back up to that for a second. What are you referring to there?
Well, in ancient times, there was a being by the name of Sekhmet that in the ancient Egyptian times, and there's a statue of her, and she's about 14 feet tall, and she has the most endearing face on her, very loving, nurturing, like a motherly face on her, that's the way they are. But they actually walked right alongside the Anunnaki, and they were the protectors of the Anunnaki. And so they're coming back actually now with the benevolent Anunnaki to, help clean house here. And they're basically going to drain the interdimensional swamp is what they're doing. So, a lot of people don't understand. Everybody thinks the Anunnaki are reptilian, which isn't the case. They're human, and some of them fell and created some very serious problems on the Earth. And they actually made a pact, Marduk made a pact with the reptilians, and we've been under that draconian grid or empire for quite some time because of that pact. And we're in the process of, it's not only just Trump draining the swamp, but there's an interdimensional thing going on where the puppet masters are being taken out as well.
Even though I don't do politics, we're actually going to come back and visit that because I think that is a very interesting point. But with the propulsion systems and, the blue and the gold colors, what were we seeing with this green sphere?
I'm not sure, but some of the green and red ships are reptilian, and some of those you want to stay away from. You're best not to contact those guys. I always tell people just because you're enlightened or just because you're dead doesn't mean you're enlightened, and just because you're an ET doesn't mean you're benevolent, because there are some that aren't benevolent, and they're being cleaned out as we speak. But I could tune into that and ask, because these guys are timeless. I could go tune in and ask who that group is and who, which ship that was they're flying.
And there was something else that I found interesting about that night, which is the high-powered military-type lasers, right, that everybody on the ground is using to flash at these ships. Yeah. Well, as I'm watching this ship fly away, and it's at such great speed that the odds of hitting it or keeping a laser on it, there's just no way. It's impossible. But it was getting hit by these lasers, and I could see it. And every time a laser would cross its path, which happened maybe a half a dozen times, I would see the laser sparkle on the sphere, indicating that it was exactly what I thought it was, which was a solid chrome ball, right? It was a solid object. Are you saying that us hitting it with those lasers, if it was something with bad intentions, that is not a good idea? Certainly they must have known that we saw them because there were lasers coming off the side of the side of this mountain.
Yeah, well, there's rules, and there's a lot of what's happening right now is the majority of it's benevolent, and they're stepping in, and so they're keeping a very close watch on any of the more self-serving or malevolent beings. So their game is over. They're being cleaned up as we speak, and the vast majority of them have been cleaned up. There's still some left on in the fourth dimension. They're still doing some cleanup in that dimension as well.
The other part that I want to speak about a little more directly is we talk about these orbs. And that's what we see a lot of. Have you at ECETI seen ships that weren't, or that have a different type of structure to them?
Definitely. What I found out is there are actually physical ships that can power up. When they power up, they become non-physical. They'll shift into more of an energy or a light sphere. There's ships that are just pure energy, and there's ships that are magnetized light. And some of the beings are the same. There are physical beings on these ships, and when they power up the ships, they become non-physical. There's beings that are pure energy. And some beings have magnetized light bodies. That's in the upper 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional, beings that are coming in on these ships.
And what about the not only black triangles, but the reports of really large ships, a half a mile long, wedge shaped, triangle shaped. spherical disc shape, these really large, I don't want to say motherships, but, something that isn't small. What are we seeing here when they manifest into that type of physical thing? Because it's not seen flying. How do I want to say this? It isn't seen flying across a city. They tend to appear in a central area, and they're moving slow. What is going on with that?
Well, there's different things. The really big ones that they said, you could land a 747 on the wings of these things that flew over Arizona and things like that.
Right.
Most of those are Andromedan ships, or they're Confederations. They're huge. I mean, they're massive. Now, we have our own ships that we built that are triangles that are, I think it's a TR7?
TR3, yeah, TR3B.
TR3.
Right.
Yeah, the TR3s. We back engineered those, and we have our smaller triangle ships, and we also have a kind of a lighter than air big triangle thing that's more like a blimp in a way, that they fly around at times. They try to fake people out with it, I guess. I don't know why they built that thing, but because they have the other technology. Why are they doing blimp technology? But there's so much hardware out there, it's hard to tell who's who unless you know what's going on. But I do have friends that actually worked at Area 51 and that were chief engineers there, and I talk to them quite often, and they've been up to the ranch too, and they said without a doubt these aren't ours, and they know what they're looking at.
Well, we're going to take a break right here. When we come back, we have to talk about the hangar door, the garage door at Mount Adams. I want to talk about that a little bit, and also the Bigfoot and the other interdimensional things that are going on about the ranch and what those connections are. It's such a fascinating place. ECETI, everybody. Our guest tonight is James Gilliland. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Going to be one of those conversations tonight. James is live from Hawaii. I'm in freezing cold Los Angeles, and this is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Kat Deely, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Sobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. I want to say hi to everybody on the live bunker cam. ECETI Ranch. Crazy things going on up there. And James, one of the things that I'd like to ask to those in the know is this. When it comes to the appearances of these craft, is this, who's determining the witnessing of this? Is this up to ET? Is this up to us? Is our government involved? Who is in control of this? James, are you there? Man, did we lose Gilliland? Oh man, he must be on a break. James. Okay, very strange. James Gilliland, where are you?
Hello.
There you are, James. Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah, there's something going on really strange with my mic here, so I had to go back and forth. Obviously, that I'm sure you're aware that you got a lot of interference when you do these kind of shows.
So, did you hear the question?
I did, yeah. Basically, I think it's determined both by the group that's there as to how low they come and how much they interface with us. And sometimes when there is a military presence, that kind of shuts things down for a little while until they leave. You know, if we have the black helicopters coming over or things like that, they'll just kind of keep their distance till they move on and then they come back. And definitely the ETs set the precedence, you know, on how much they are going to interface with us.
How much does the government interfere with you up there? I mean, they are obviously completely aware of ECETI Ranch. Do you get the Men in Black stuff and the black helicopters often?
We've had all of it. We've had helicopters come over that were retrofitted with these huge, they look like a bell-shaped object on them that were hitting us with microwave pulses or some type of a psychotronic weapon or whatever. We've had just about everything you can imagine happen up there. You know, not to mention just massive chemtrailing. One of the reasons I came to Hawaii is to heal up from all that. You know, to kind of get my body back together. That's what I was saying. You said, "Boy, I wish I was James Gilliland." I said, "I don't think you want to be James Gilliland because there's a transdimensional war going on, which I'm in the middle of, and the government seems to really want us to go away."
The famous hangar door that has been witnessed by so many people up there. The thing I want to believe that it is going on, but I have to be skeptical. I haven't seen it myself. But what is going on, and how big is this door?
Well, the door is not really a hangar door. What it is, it's they use a field that is like a G-force field, and it opens a massive light door, and ships come in and out of it. And I actually had Peter Slattery up there, and just everybody in the know, almost everybody you know that's in the field that has been up to the ranch and have seen it. All of the exopolitics people, just about everybody you can think of have been up there and they've seen the ships, and most of them have seen the door open as well. And when this door opens, things come out of it. And, we have film of ships coming out of it, of higher dimensional beings, orbs coming out of it. One video we got with an infrared camera while we were filming, it looks like a master, a robed master with a sash around his waist walking towards us, coming out of that door. And he had to be huge. I mean, whoever it was very big. And I think that's on the website somewhere. If not, I'll find it and put it up there. But I have it in my lectures when I show it on my lectures. But there's so much going on there. It's just crazy, But we have so much documentation of it, and we do have a lot of equipment we're using to document it. And when you have the eyewitnesses and you have the photographs and the videos, and you have the top physicists also, coming on board, it's a pretty much a done deal.
What does it look like now from your ranch? Looking at Mount Adams, is it on the right side or the left side of Mount Adams?
Well, when I'm looking at the mountain is basically right in my front yard. I'm looking right up at the mountain, and it's right square in the middle of the mountain where this door opens up. And I've gone up there, and there is a huge lava face where this door is, but the lava's been swirled, and some strange force has been acting on this lava. I've been up there. Other people have gone up there too, and it's pretty crazy when you go up there. You better be ready, because a lot of people come back just totally unglued, and they almost lose their minds up there. So a lot of the Native Americans tell people don't go up there. They said that's the fairy light. Stay out of there. That area, because if you can't kind of observe things without fear and with loving detachment, you're going to kind of go nuts up there.
What does this door look like, and how big do you think it is too as well? I mean, Mount Adams is not small, right? It's a big mountain, right?
I would say the door, it's hard to tell, but it's big. I mean, it's really big. A very large ship could come in and out of that. I would say, almost, sometimes when it really powers up, it's almost a quarter mile wide. It's a pretty big door.
And who do you think is inside of Mount Adams?
Well, a lot of the beings that people have talked about over the years have been, a lot of them are the ancient Atlanteans and Lemurians that went under to escape the cataclysms are there. There was a race of beings there already, some very ancient ones that are kind of etheric beings, are not really physical. And a lot of the mythological animals have been preserved there in the earth. A lot of the myths about gnomes and fairies and things like that actually really aren't myths. So, Lord of the Rings is not too far off the mark with some of the beings that are in there.
Have you seen terrestrial craft, our craft, go in and out of the mountain? Helicopters or other military craft.
I've seen them try, but they can't. They don't have access. Now on the backside of Mount Adams, up there's in the Yakima area. There's a proving ground. It's pretty far away, and they do a lot of military operations there. But on our side of the mountain, there's nothing. There's nothing up there at all. There's no roads. There's no way to even get up there other than hiking. And the terrain is just giant lava boulders. There's no way you could drive any kind of a vehicle over them, or it'd have to be some type of anti-gravity or hovercraft. It's just impossible to cross that. Where we're seeing this activity happen.
I just had a friend, Steve Murillo, and he was just up there doing a little Bigfoot research and found some footprints and did some casting. Pretty incredible sighting. But as I went through his trip up there and I was looking at Mount Adams in Google Maps, trying to get the lay of the land of where they were and what roads they were on, and I could see where ECETI is. It is about as remote as can be. There are no roads. There isn't access up there. This is, aside from the fire trails, really there isn't any civilization up there besides you and a couple of small towns.
Exactly. Yeah, we're right at the edge, of our little town, Trout Lake. Beyond us is the Gifford Pinchot wilderness area. And so it's all pretty much wilderness from our little town on.
Now, and this is this is what I found fascinating in Trout Lake. You know, Steve, you probably know the restaurant or something that he was at,
yeah.
And so he's walking around talking to the local townsfolk about what's going on up there. And pretty much everybody has got their own UFO or Bigfoot sightings. This is not anything strange in the area.
Yeah, and what happens is it's a very strong kind of a Baptist farming, logging community. And so they'll talk to you off the record, but they won't talk to you around their friends because it's kind of like a taboo subject to talk about it. But they had a big gathering there. It's like a big jamboree camp out. And they had just, I don't know how many tents there and all these people there. And 3 ships came in and hovered right over the jamboree. And we actually got it on film as well. And they just sat there and hovered there, and then they took off and left. And I went over there and I tried to talk to the people that were there, and they were told not to talk about it. They were very, very quiet about it, and it really freaked them out. But, you know, they needed to be freaked out a little bit, I guess. Like it's part of their evolutionary process.
Well, and what about the connection to, and I've been trying to make this connection of Bigfoot to the UFO sightings. And so with you and your experience, do they happen at the same time? And is there a direct connection?
Boy, that's hope you got some time to explain this one. But we have a resident Bigfoot at the ranch that comes around. He's a juvenile. And, Clyde Lewis. I'm sure you know Clyde Lewis.
I've had him on the show to share this experience, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, he had one run right. He just came walking out with his cup of coffee out of the guest house, and this one ran right up to him, skidded, stopped, looked right at him, and smiled, and took off running. And a couple other people saw it. I saw the back of it as it was leaving. And we have a young one there that likes to mess with people, and it's pretty funny. But they also phase out. You know, they phase out. So we've had hundreds of witnesses that have seen the Bigfoot in our area. The people living there all have had their own experience with Bigfoot. But they're harmless. They're very sensitive beings. I think they're highly evolved beings because they can phase in and out whenever they want to. And so whenever you have a being that can phase in and out and go like interdimensional like that, you know, they're also connected to the UFOs. They come together. There are some that are actually not. They're more of an android, and they have about 4 foot long hair that is actually synthetic. It's silicon based, and we've had the hair analyzed, by forensic specialists and fiber specialists, and they said this isn't from here, that this couldn't have been created on Earth. We could never create this, and it's synthetic. So it really freaked them out. But there are some hairs that have the DNA, and they're mostly human. They're part of the human experience that evolved naturally. They didn't evolve into technology, and they evolved within their environment and became masters of the environment.
What did you mean when you say android?
Well, I think it's kind of a engineered, like something like Data with a lot of hair, on Star Trek. It's the UFOs use them to keep people out of areas where they're doing sensitive work and things. It's like their big bad dog, they're going to have to keep an eye on things and protect, their ships and whatever they're doing.
When it comes to Bigfoot, James, I want to make sure that we're talking about Bigfoot too and not something else, because it could be a lot of different things that we're witnessing. But when it comes to Bigfoot, do you think that it's possible that he or she could be interdimensional, and there's a reason why we don't have access to them? Mm-hmm. Do you think that is what's going on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had several sightings, and I watched a female 50 feet away walk right in front of me and nod her head and smile and then phased out right in front of me. I saw it happen with my own eyes. So they do have the ability to shift between, probably the fourth dimension and this dimension. So I don't think you're ever going to find one for two reasons. One, they probably phase out when they die, and two, we're very obnoxious and loud when we're in the forest, and these guys are ultra sensitive. They know when and where we are, and they can blend in with the trees. And if the Native Americans have a saying, they said, if you go out searching for Bigfoot, you'll never find him. But if he wants to find you, he will. And what they're saying is get your act together, spiritually, and go out with the right intent, open mind, loving heart, and pure intent. And Bigfoot just may appear to you and show himself.
Do you have any Bigfoot videos that you've shot at the ranch?
No, I haven't. With me, I kind of feel I have more of a Native American approach to it. Like, they're a different nation, and I really don't want them to be bothered. I don't tell people where I've seen them. I know where they are. I know where you could go and have your own sighting, but I don't want, they have their nation, and they have their areas that they want people to stay out of, and I want to respect that and honor that.
Back to Mark just tweeted out of Australia. He said, where can everybody go and see the Door videos? The Door is one of the most craziest things for me, for people to talk about witnessing and saying that this is really going on. But to have actual evidence and video, that's a whole nother thing. Do you have this posted?
I believe they're on the ECETI Stargate, the official channel on YouTube. They have a lot of that on there. I haven't really checked to see exactly what all has been posted on there. I know on ECETIAustralia.org is Peter Slattery's work. And he's got footage of the door opening and ships coming actually out of a cave up there. So he's got some good footage of that as well. So either the ECETI Australia site or ECETI.org or the ECETI Stargate on the YouTube channels has that footage.
Okay, we'll get that posted up there in Twitter, everybody. Not a problem. Now, I want to get to something a little more controversial. There are different researchers out there that have their own styles of making contact and witnessing these events, right? So, and there are some that insist that everything is good. They are here for the good of man. There are others out there that are saying, don't do this. It is dangerous. And nobody can seem to agree. So with all of your research, what do you think is going on? Is this type of contact benevolent? Is it malevolent? Is it something that we shouldn't do? Or is there a correct way to go about it?
Yeah, there is a correct way to go about it. And we actually teach people how to heal unseen negative influences and actually shield up and make sure you are working with benevolent beings. And from my opinion, basically, it's highly irresponsible to just open up to anything that comes along. As I said before, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're enlightened, and just because you're an ET doesn't mean you're benevolent. There are low-level stuff. There's some grays and reptilians and serpent beings and other dimensional beings, in the lower fourth dimension that you want to stay away from. And, we train people on how to maintain your own self-authority and how to heal these unseen negative influences, and then it's safe once you understand this part of the picture and learn how to get some tools on your belt. It's safe, but I think it's extremely irresponsible to go out and open to anything that comes along, without using some discernment. And I've seen many times, not just with groups like that, but a lot of people doing like ayahuasca ceremonies and things like that, where they don't have a trained shaman involved and they don't know how to heal unseen negative influences, and they just open to anything that comes along, and next thing you know, they're possessed or they have things attached to them and they're starting to get sick and ill and have multiple accidents and things like that. And it's because they didn't learn how to heal unseen negative influence, and they didn't learn how to protect themselves.
When we refer to these different dimensional beings and we attach a number to it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, can you help me define exactly what we are talking about so the audience can kind of follow along?
Well, basically, let's say, we're in the third dimension. So in the fourth dimension, on the lowest levels of the fourth dimension, you have crazy things going on. You have all kinds of thought forms. You have some kind of demonic type stuff. You have humans that are really messed up, that didn't go anywhere. They're stuck in the lower fourth dimension. And you have some low-level ETs in there, some grays and reptilians and sometimes serpent beings and things like that. When you get through the psychic barrier above the fourth dimension, you start hooking in with other beings that actually they've gone through the psychic barrier and they're off the wheel. They don't have to reincarnate or anything. They've mastered, themselves. But in the mid fourth dimension, you have everyday people that are just reincarnating. They're on the wheel, and they're coming back to finish their karma or whatever. In the higher fourth dimension, you have teachers and guides and people that can assist you, but they're still stuck on the wheel because they have some kind of a cultural or religious program that keeps them separate. So they haven't mastered unity consciousness yet. They don't see the creator in all creation. And so they're still stuck on the wheel. They haven't gotten off the wheel yet. So they're below the psychic barrier. So you really want to work with the beings. A lot of the Pleiadians are in the fifth dimension. Some are in the sixth and seventh. The Orion Council of Light, those are mostly sixth dimensional beings. The Andromedans are seventh dimensional beings.
Okay, so what would be the difference between 5D and 4D?
5D, you're off the wheel. They're operating out of unity consciousness. They're very loving. They're very joyous beings. They become one with the creator. So it's the place where the creator knows itself to be man and man knows himself to be creator or herself to be creator. It's the merging of the two. And as you move up the dimensions, you merge more with the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness and all planes and dimensions, throughout the multiverse, and that's the source. You become more godlike, you might say.
Right. So then the transition between 5D and 6D, what are we referring to there?
Well, the 6D beings, they've been on 5D for quite some time, and they've just mastered more of the higher dimensional energies, and they've mastered how to transcend, the physical self, you might say, or I don't want to say the physical self. It's like they have less identity and they're more one with the source, put it that way.
And so 7D, and as we're going up this chart, and it's the only way that I can actually put it, how do you know a 7D from an 8D? And as we're getting up, is at some point the physical self is just completely gone and you are just nothing but pure energy? Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. A lot of these beings are just pure energy, or they have magnetized light bodies, and some are just pure consciousness. They've gone even beyond that. So that's basically the vibrational continuum that we're on. And what I've seen is that these are chakras. It's amazing. Our physical bodies have the ability to sense all the dimensions to the seventh on up. And if you learn to use your body as a tool, you'll feel the fifth dimensional beings. Your heart chakra will be just lighting up like crazy. And that's when you're in the fourth and fifth, a high fourth and fifth. You'll feel all this love and compassion coming to you. That when you get into the sixth and seventh dimensional beings, the sixth dimensional beings, you'll feel your third eye, like pressure on your third eye when they come in, and your crown, your chakra.
Right.
When the seventh dimensional beings come in, you'll feel like you're wearing a little beanie on top of your head. You'll feel pressure on the top of your head. And so if you understand the chakras, the first chakra is just survival. Second chakra is your sexual creational energies. The third chakra is power. You're supposed to use your third chakra to empower you to, fulfill your own unique purpose. It's never to be used to overpower others. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of it's being used right now. And then you get up into the fourth chakra is your heart chakra. It's the love chakra right there. And then you get into the fifth chakra. You're talking about love expressed. It's your throat chakra. It's kind of a blue, electric blue energy. And when you get up into your third eye, you're talking about purple and gold energies or white energies. Everybody's a little different. But when you get into your sixth chakra, it's like God seeing in everything and everyone. You're seeing energy fields. You're seeing things transmute from energy to matter. It's a whole different realm. When you get into your seventh chakra, you're totally merged. You're becoming one with the source or God or whatever name you want to give it.
Well, and I'm watching Twitter here, and they are totally with me on these questions, because, Dennis just posted, I never get what anyone is talking about when they refer to the fourth, fifth, or sixth, the dimension, because nobody defines it, right? Mm-hmm. And we hear talk about it all the time, but I don't want to act like I know or I understand. Because I've also never got really clear definition on it. And then Nancy comes back with, are we all light beings in the fifth dimension? Right?
Yeah. In the fifth dimension, you are definitely, you're off the wheel. You're a light being, but you can actually manifest a physical body, and you can drop in, like masters like Babaji and Yeshua and people like that. They actually, at the Kumbh Mela and things like that, they actually drop down and become physical, so people can see them and touch them and everything else. But it's not really a physical body they're in. It's a magnetized light body that's dropped its frequencies down to where they're actually expressing almost as matter. But they're not. They're not physical.
And before we're going to hit a break here in 60 seconds, is it possible to get stuck in a dimension and not be able to move or get out of it, like in 4D? Is it possible to just get stuck?
Oh, definitely. I mean, lower 4D, you can actually go there and get possessed, and you're stuck. You're stuck, and they own you.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying we need to be responsible, when we do these things.
Well, how do you get out of the fourth dimension? You're in this nether world, right? And you just, what do?
You call on the fifth dimensional beings, or the sixth, or the seventh. You make sure you have friends in high places if you're going to do this kind of work.
Very interesting. Now, so I am communicating with a 5D or a 6D being of light. Do they need a ship to get around the universe and to come here and see us?
They actually don't. They can bilocate. A lot of the masters on Earth have learned how to do that, bilocate. I've had several experiences myself where I've done it, and it's been documented on both ends. But they don't really need a ship. But I mean, where are they going to take us? They can't just leave us in space, and have a conversation with us. So
right.
So they do have their ships, and a lot of times they'll take you not in a physical body. They'll take you in one of your other bodies, out of body. They'll take you in your astral body or your etheric body or one of your light bodies up on the ship, and they'll have a conversation with you, teach you all kinds of things, and you'll come back and it'll be so vivid. You'll go, that wasn't a dream, that was too real. And what happens is that you had an experience, and I hate to call them abduction experiences because they're usually agreed upon on both ends.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. That's right. He's the founder of the Gilliland Estate, also known as the ECETI Ranch. More with James right after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, Even simpler to order. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. And I got to tell you, so before I bring James in here, I gotta ask him a question, because during the break, I'm over in the chat rooms and I'm popping into Twitter. And during the break, James, I just had the most massive, real deal deja vu. It just happened, right? And so, and I love it when deja vus occur. I like the moment. But the deja vu was, I knew what I was typing before I was going to type it about what I was going to type it about, which was this new cam that we have in the studio, and a comment about makeup, right? Should I be wearing makeup right now? Ha ha ha. And but the deja vu was me typing, and I kept typing it. I kept it up. I knew I was going to do it. I felt it coming, and I still did it anyway. Pretty bizarre. My friend, what is a deja vu? What is going on there? I'm sure you have them all the time too, as well. What is a deja vu? It almost feels like time travel. It's somebody's read my book ahead of time and knows what I'm about to do. It's pretty trippy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's deja vus are really interesting, because what I find is that in spirit there is no time, and you can move forward or backward in the timeline in spirit. And even the ships have this capability. So a lot of times we're not so solid in the now timeline. We're actually moving back and forth, in that timeline. And the more you get a little less fixed in your reality, the more you meditate and the more you engage the higher conscious energy, that becomes pretty common. There's all kinds of synchronicities that happen, and deja vu start happening, and pretty soon you just, you'll dream ahead of time things way before they happen.
Is it just that? Is it a timeline shift? Is it you going in and out of something to your left or to your right, and then you're back centered again? Is that what you're referring to? Because I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it's also, too, it's like a lot of times we've done so many other things in past lives, and we'll be together with these people and go, well, I've been with you before. I remember this. And we'll be in the same line of work or something similar. And, we do incarnate and come together for certain tasks and certain things. We have families, that we you might say, star families or spiritual families that we reincarnate in, not just biological families, but we've done a lot of these things before, and it's just the memory. It's like the soul memory coming forward.
The phones have not stopped all night, and I haven't opened up the phone lines. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. I've ignored it all night. But let's go ahead and do this because I think everybody wants to talk to James. So let's take a couple of quick calls. No, I lost that phone call as I hit that. Okay, I'm going to reset. 323-825-5045 if you would like to ask James a question. Any comments, we can go ahead and do that. Now, let's get back to this these experiences that are going on up there. Have you, as a contactee, have you been able to get on board or see the inside of one of these ships?
Yeah, I've seen several different types of ships.
Okay. Let's start with the most recent one.
Oh, boy. The most recent one was probably when I went up on more like a starship. It was in a Galactic Federation ship. It was a very large ship. And the most amazing thing that happened to me is when I came onto the ship, I went out of body to go onto the ship. And when I got on the ship, I looked across, and there was a woman, long blonde hair, with her facing away from me. And as I was looking at her, and I said, wow, who's that? I wonder who that is, Very beautiful silhouette, and everything. And she gets up and runs towards me and gives me a big hug, like we were long lost brothers and sisters. And I didn't have a chance to even, react to it. It happened so quick. And when I looked at her, she wasn't totally human. She was feline, humanoid feline. And that was a shocker. But I did see a lot of beings that were like us. Some were much taller than us as a species. And then there also were some little short ones, very short beings on there working on the ship. So it's more of a collective that we're working all together.
We're going to come back to that in just a second. I'm very interested on what you had seen up there. Let's take some of these phone calls. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to James Gilliland.
Yeah, hi, James. Thanks a lot for taking my call. I appreciate it. And I have a quick question for you. Have you ever tried using a recording of a little baby, a human baby, crying to attract a Bigfoot?
That's a good question. No, I've never really tried to attract them. It just kind of happened. I think some of the sightings were actually set up by on another dimension or by other beings. But that's an interesting thing because they do from the records I've seen, they do love children. They interact with children without fear, and I'm sure a baby crying would totally attract them.
That's a great question, and thank you for that. Why would you ask? Have you tried it yourself?
Well, I've listened to your show a million times, and I've heard a lot of people talk about Bigfoot, and I do a lot of hunting in Colorado. And whenever I want to attract a bear, I break out my recording of my son crying. It brings animals from everywhere.
There you go.
So I said, if a crying baby is hard to refuse from any animal's curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
And a crying baby sounds way different than an adult or even a young adult. It's got that certain sound.
What's your name?
It ought to work on a Bigfoot.
Right. What's your name?
Cliff.
Thank you, Cliff, for the phone call. And I think that's very interesting. Yeah. But I would also...
You're quite welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would also say be careful, too, as well, because you don't know what you're... he's pulling in bear. But it could also trigger something that you may not be able to control. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to James Gilliland.
Is that me?
I got you, but you're breaking up. Let's try it one more time. Say hi to James.
How you doing, James?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I want to ask you, when Obama was in, you had said that he had you thought he was with the light, and that he would be helping us.
Actually, I never said that.
Oh, you never thought Obama?
No. Right from the very day one, I could see things, and a lot of people got very angry at me, and they saw the orbs. There's orbs there and things like that at his inauguration, but those are generated by the people's enthusiasm, not by him. And so from day one, I'll just be straight up. From day one, I said, he's a very charismatic person, and he has deadly charisma, and people need to really keep an eye on him, because I don't think he's genuine.
And I want to thank the caller for the question. It's a great question, but the call was breaking up, so I had to let that go. And before I get back to the phones, James, let me ask you this. Even though I don't do politics, and I know that you don't either, but certainly we do have a new administration in that we don't know a whole lot about in Washington. Do you think that Trump is on the right side or the wrong side of the tracks when it comes to ET and disclosure? Do we have some hope here, because he is such a renegade and out of control, which I can appreciate that side of him, but I have no idea where he's at on this ET agenda. What do you think is going to go on?
Well, I'll tell you some things, and I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but Trump is doing some things behind the scenes that nobody knows about, and his life's on the line in doing these things. And it's all about restoring the republic and getting a fair system in place, and a whole different monetary system, and getting rid of the feds and this whole 9 yards. So he's doing some amazing work. I know his plane has been filmed by Fox News with ships following his plane. That was all over the news. Also, too, his helicopter has an escort, an ET escort. That's been on the news as well. And there's a lot of things that have been said about him that were fabricated, through the fake news and things like that are basically untrue, and they've been proven to be untrue. But, you don't hear, the lie has already gone around the world twice before the truth has time to tie its shoes. And so the lamestream media and the Illuminati and all of these guys have all the power. They have all the time, they have the podium, the prime time on TV and everything else, and they're going to do everything they can to shut him down. But he actually is doing some amazing things that I know personally that I can't even talk about some of it, but it's going to happen very soon, within the next day possibly, where there's going to be some huge announcements. And he is draining the swamp, and the swamp is going to kick back. I mean, these guys, their lives are on the line, and their freedom is on the line. A lot of these guys are going to go to jail for a very long time. So it's going to be a real mess.
Very interesting. So you think something might get announced within the next couple of days?
Well, not about ETs, but about other monetary things and some other things that are going on. But, he's up against the shadow government and the deep state, and they're doing all they can to take him down and to get rid of him. And the ones that are screaming the loudest actually are probably going to end up in jail very soon, because of treason. Basically, some of the things that they've done that they're trying to accuse him of is what they themselves have been doing, and the evidence is there. So it's going to be really interesting. Now, am I a Trump fan? I don't involve myself in politics. I don't even vote. And there's a reason why I don't vote, because I'm not part of the system. I totally remove myself out of the system so I could do the work that I'm doing and not be, attacked by the system or being bound by the system. So, it's that's a whole different story in itself. But I had to do that. But when you vote, you're agreeing with the system. You're back in the system, and I can't vote. I have to stay out of it.
Right.
But I mean, what I say is, if you look at the options of maybe Hillary coming in there and look at her history, her real history, and the way she's treated, blacks and Hispanics and everybody, and women especially, what she's done to women, and then she gets on stage and says the opposite. And she just has a very, very black history that's all going to be coming up. It's already coming up. And it's like when people are all rioting and angry because she didn't get in there. They have no idea, what they're writing about. They haven't done any research. They're not in the know. They don't have a clue. They're just going by what, CNN has told them. And everybody knows CNN is the Clinton News Network, or they just lie about everything. So
there isn't any media that will ever give it to you straight. That's for sure. Exactly. Except for this show. All right, let's go. Yeah. The phones are jammed. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to James Gilliland.
Hello, James.
How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to say everything you're saying is resonating with me, and I did buy some night vision goggles recently. I do plan to come to your ranch. So when I see you up there, I'll introduce myself as the guy that called you on the Fade to Black show.
There you go.
Sounds good.
All right, man. And you got to bring those.
But I got a story to relate to you and get your feedback. Do you remember back at the Alien Snowfest, there was that Indian tribe that was from Dulce, New Mexico, that does their little conferences up there. And I befriended a guy that's an Indian shaman. And then I ran into him again at the UFO Congress in Arizona last week. And we spent a lot of time hanging out, and he's told me some more stories. And one of the stories he told me I'd never heard before, and maybe you haven't heard this either, but maybe James has. But here's what he told me. He's seen Bigfoot 3 times, and they're right there in their land that they have there near the base of Dulce, and that they do their farming there. And what they've learned and what they've passed down is apparently some of these Bigfoot will come down at certain times of the year, and they'll go into their farming area and they'll steal their food. So the way they keep these Bigfoot from actually coming into their area and stealing their food, this is kind of funny, is the Indians will go around the area and they'll pee up high onto the tree. And the reason why they do that, he says, is because apparently the Bigfoot comes down, he smells the urine on the tree, and if the urine is higher up on the tree than it would be if the Bigfoot was peeing on the tree, then somehow that deters them. Have you ever heard anything like that?
No, but they do come down when our apples are going off, and we have a lot of apples and plums and pears and things growing, cherries and everything at the ranch, and they do come down and help themselves, and we don't mind. It's we just say help yourself.
That I hear everything on this show, James, and I think that one just pushed things over the edge.
I thought it would. That's why I had to tell you, Jim. Maybe you'd like it.
Yeah.
All right, man.
But I believe it to be true. That's all I got to say.
There you go, Eric. Thank you for the phone call, my friend.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Take care.
You got it. What is Bigfoot's diet? You just said apples. Carnivorous? Is he vegan? What is their diet?
Mainly from what I understand is they, whatever they can gather, basically, and they'll knock a deer down and eat a deer or whatever. So there's been a lot of stories that people have seen them, and there, one guy actually was talking about Bigfoot. He was a Native American guy, and he said that he used to take peanut butter and banana sandwiches out with him, and he'd always leave one for Bigfoot when he was hunting. And they'd always disappear, every time they would disappear. And then he shot an elk, and it was a really big elk, and they're going to have to get some kind of a vehicle out there to pick it up to get it back to the ranch. And they went back, and they're going to come out the next morning and get it. And he woke up in the morning, and the elk was on his doorstep. So the Bigfoot actually carried it for him over and dropped it off for him. So they, if you work with them and you treat them kindly, they'll help you out there.
Peanut butter and banana sandwiches. That would also attract the ghost of Elvis, if you think about it.
Probably would. Yeah.
Now I want to get back to your the last ship that you were on with the cat-like blonde woman was pretty fascinating. But and you described it as a large Galactic Federation type of ship with lots of different. But how large was it? What was the room like on the inside? Could you tell? I'm going to give you a long list of questions. Were you moving? Were you up in orbit around Earth? Were you somewhere else? Could you see out of a window? I want to know. Give me the laundry list. What'd you see?
Well, basically, what I felt like I was in a room There were windows behind me that went out into space, and it was a large room, and it was part of a very, very large ship, but I couldn't see the whole ship, just the room I was in. And there's all kinds of panels and consoles, and she was actually at a console doing some work, and I don't know exactly what she was doing. They're monitoring the Earth, and the consciousness and energy of Earth, and helping balance things out. And some chaos is necessary for healing. It's part of the healing process. But things get too chaotic, you can go into World War III, and they didn't want that to happen. So
right.
So so they are working a lot with energy and consciousness and assisting a lot of people here on Earth. And I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but they're monitoring everything.
Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to James Gilliland.
Hi, James and Jimmy. This is Kim from Montana. You're starting to speak a little bit of my language, and what I'm wanting to understand is when you discuss shielding yourself, which is something I have to do on a daily basis on a different energy level. What is the best thing that you can recommend for us here as we're still in human form to shield ourselves from just what's here in human form?
Great question.
Well, basically right now, and a lot of people can relate to this, we're like wading through muck and mire. And between the elections and like over here in Maui, they've been battling Monsanto for so long, and the feds came in and just said, you have no rights, you have no say-so, and shut everything down. And the Monsanto people, they lost heavily, and all the people marched against them and everything, and they shut it down, which is really sad. You've got the Standing Rock things going on. You've got all of these things happening, and the wars, that are going on. You've got the immigrant thing going on. All of that is creating this heavy muck around the planet right now, and it's very hard to get guidance. Yeah, it's very hard to get healing and guidance from the higher dimensions, but that is in the process of being cleaned up. A lot of people think their guides and angels have abandoned them, and it's not true. What's happening is that the people of Earth have generated this psychic turbulence, and keep adding to it. With all these things going on. People flipping out, and a lot of wounded people that are traumatized that are expressing that through the events that are triggering that right now. And if people would just go within and start healing themselves, make their own personal connection with God or spirit or whatever, great spirit, whatever name you want to give it, and take total responsibility for whatever they're feeling, and own it and heal it, ask for help and clear it. It's a much better path to do it internally versus externally. And what I use is with me, I had several near-death experiences, so I just got a major plug-in. And I've also been trained through a lot of Tibetan trainings and yogis, and I did yoga for quite a few years and things like that. So I think it's really important to eat very close to the earth, eat as organic as possible, drink a lot of water, and make sure your water's clean. Also, try to stay out of the heavy chemtrailing that's going on if you can. I mean, that's a mess right now. That has to come to an end very soon. I think it will pretty soon. There's so many things we can do, and then always self-monitor yourself. If you're feeling sad or angry or frustrated, or you're feeling a lot of sadness that's being, it may not be yours, and so you can go in and clear that with the techniques.
Yeah, I'm very empathic, so I feel everybody's everything.
Yeah.
We have that. I've written about that in the book Reunion with Source and Becoming Gods. I have the healing techniques in there on how to clear your energy and clear the energy of your home and loved ones as well. And it's very important to do that on a regular basis, because we're being challenged, ultimately challenged right now with what's going on.
I want to thank you for the phone call. And
thank you both. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent questions. And kind of following up with what she had said, when you are making contact or you feel like something is about to happen, what do you do at that point? If you're scared, you may project something negative. If you're happy, you may seem too enthusiastic, but you also don't know who you're about to make contact with. So how do you remain neutral, and what do you do at that moment?
Well, what I do is I have an old saying: if you don't like what you're feeling, do a healing. So if the energy doesn't feel good, if you don't feel that love and joy and bliss or energy, then do a healing. Just the process we do is again, it's in the books and everything else. Clear the energy first. If they are a higher being, they won't mind you doing the energy clearing. They won't be offended by it at all.
At that moment, you mean to do it like in real time?
Yeah. As soon as you feel energy like that, you just stop and clear it. And then after you do the clearing, then talk to who's left, So I clear the decks first, and then I talk to who's left.
Right. Well, okay, because the reason why I'm asking is I had my little incident, right, 20 years ago, 1995, 96, with something that was in my bedroom. I'm not going to go into the details now, but I was a bit dickish, James. I was ready. I thought that there was going to be a little butt kicking that was about to go on, right? Yeah. And then it just ended. It lasted for about 15 minutes. But I was not cool with that experience, okay? I just was not. I was not happy. And I'm sure that was projected. Did I handle that the wrong way? I don't even know if I would go through the experience again. It was so negative for me.
Well, the thing about it, if it was negative, if you felt it was negative, it probably was. And we have to honor that. We have to respect our own inner sensitivity. And definitely when you do these clearings, it definitely does butt kicking. It clears them out. There's different levels of clearing. The first levels are very easy to clear. Sometimes when we get up into the really nasty stuff, you get up into like serpent beings and some of the reptilians.
Right.
You might want to have a little better arsenal under your belt, and we call in the other beings that are far superior than they are, and we bring them in and they clear out those different groups. So it's just a matter of doing your homework. And we teach this in self-mastery classes and ambassador training here at the ranch. We teach people how to do that and how to discern who's who and how to maintain your self-authority and clear those energies out.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, ECETI Ranch. It's now the Gilliland Estate. That sounds really official, James, but let's stay with ECETI. You'll never escape it. This is Fade to Black. Our guest, James Gilliland. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent Talk.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numana, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numana are known for high-quality, great-tasting GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Always a little drama in the chat rooms as the night goes on. You gotta love it. All right, everybody's behaving in Twitter, though. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. James, I just got a question popped up in Twitter, and it is, this is from Allison, and she says, I heard that we've passed the 9th degree for bringing in the shift. Do you know anything about this?
Definitely, yeah. We're going through what they call ascension waves, and the 9th wave, or the Mayans talk about the 9th wave as unity consciousness, and we've been in the middle of that for quite some time. And when that wave of energy comes through, it pushes everything up that doesn't align with unity consciousness. So all the separation games, you know, the divisions and the wars and all this nonsense starts getting pushed up,
right?
And to be dealt with, and so we are, you know, going through that wave. I'm not sure exactly what she's talking to, but there is, you know, everybody refers to it as the shift or all of these things, and I don't think it's one thing that's going to happen. It's a series of events that is unfolding as we speak, and they're ascension waves coming in, and they're exponential. They get stronger and stronger. And they give us opportunities to heal and release the past. And if we don't, the next wave comes in and just really kicks our butt, you know. So it's we have to go with this flow. We have to become frequency specific to the evolution of Earth and where the Earth is going. And if we don't, we won't be able to remain here.
Cam wants to know, why are all the alien ladies always tall, thin, and blonde?
You know, that's interesting. Somebody else asked me that too, about how come they're not black, you know, and I have some friends that are in the field, you know, that are African American or black, or I don't know what the correct PC word is anymore.
Right.
But they're good friends of mine. And I said, you know, what's interesting? I said, I just have to be honest with you. I haven't had a black one appear to me. The ones that have appeared to me have been Nordic, or I've had some appear to me that were actually blue-skinned and things like that. I've had a lot of different things, but I haven't really had an experience with a black person on one of the ships. And then 2 days later, I had an experience with a black person on the ship. So it was like, you know, I told him, I said, I don't have anything against it. I'm really open to it. I just haven't seen it. All I can talk about is my experiences. I can't talk about things to be politically correct that haven't happened, and then it happened like right after that.
Let's not get off of this subject. Let's stay right there. I find that very interesting. So there isn't, okay, It seems to me, I'll just say it like I've said it before. It seems like the contactee experience has been kind of like a white thing. All right, I'm just saying. And then, but yet I have had a few people of color, black friends of mine have come up and have said that they have had experiences, but they can't talk about it in their culture because it is something that is not discussed. It is completely taboo. So if you've seen a UFO, if you've had a contact experience, an abduction experience, or anything like that, there is nowhere to go and discuss this, right? Mm-hmm. And I find that fascinating. Why do you think that is?
Oh, I think it's just cultural things. What's interesting is I've seen beings that, I've seen Asian beings that looked Asian. I've seen all kinds of different beings on the ships. And with the Orion Council of Light beings, when I looked at them, I couldn't tell what race they were. They were a combination of all the races into one. And they're very, very ancient beings. They've been around a long time. So their culture actually genetically just merged together. And when you look at some of these beings, they're very beautiful, but you're going, God, what nationality are these? You can't tell because they have the traits of all the different nationalities because they're very old and the genetics all merged. So it's kind of to me it's like they're like the physical example of unity consciousness, you might say. They've mastered all of that.
And the other side of it is, when you go to conferences, they could be large ones, with 1,000 people or 2,000 or 3,000 people. It is largely a white Caucasian audience. Not that many, Asian or black or what have you. It's pretty much a Caucasian audience, and there is just no way that is because ET is only making contact with us. Is it because of those cultures? They don't want to, they just don't want to go out. I don't see anybody from India hanging out, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, our conferences, we have people from all over the world come. And so, every race is actually there, and speakers, the same thing. We've had almost every race of speaker come up and talk about their experiences. And I really work at that happening. I really like to support the women because they've been pushed out, of a lot of the conferences. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff is more of a spiritual thing. It's not just nuts and bolts. And the women are in the heart and they understand the higher, more of the spiritual nature of things, but they get shoved out by, the guys that want to keep everything nuts and bolts or back engineered or things like that. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's interesting. Although I may go against the grain with you a little bit on this. What I feel is that at conferences, the attendees, I would say that it's a larger, not by much, but I think there's more women that attend UFO and paranormal and spiritual conferences than men. I think that there are less men there. That's first. Second, if I have gone, and if you're on hold, everybody, just stay right there. I'll get to your calls in a second. If I go back and look at the 1,000 interviews that I've done, right, I would say it's probably pretty close to 50%. I think that there are women researchers out there, authors, and investigators, just as many as men. I think that in the past, it may feel like it was male biased. I can see that. But I would say today, I've probably done 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks straight of just women guest on the show. And it's not because we've done it selectively. It's just that we just go with who the best is, and it's just turned out that way.
Well, I agree with you there. It has changed, but I'm talking about over the years. I've really tried to support the women, right. And because they have a much broader perspective usually, and they don't really care so much about the evidence and the nuts and bolts and everything else. They have a more expanded version of what's really going on.
Sure. There's no doubt about it. Men are going to talk about the bulk, or they're going to talk about the quantum, rocket engines and electromagnetic. I totally get that. Where from the other side, it's going to be more of a spiritual or a consciousness type of application to it, and why they are here, as opposed to men want to know how they got here, right?
I think also, too, that culturally, a lot of groups have been really suppressed by the churches. And the churches, you cannot talk about this in the church. And so rather than, over the years be suppressed or dealt with very adversely by the churches, they don't talk about it. And I've seen that a lot, in some of the communities. And I know in Mexico, what's very interesting in Mexico, you go down to Mexico, and there's two things going on. One, it's just part of their culture. They just accept it. There are so many UFOs flying around there. It's just part of their reality. And it's no big deal. They love the spiritual side of things. The photographs we have of Mary appearing and Kuan Yin and things like that, they're more into that and the orbs. They just accept the UFO field. But what's really interesting with them is that if you talk to a lot of them down there, and even the shamans are teaching this, a lot of shamans are teaching them that they can't ascend in this lifetime because they have to come back in a white body or to ascend, and which is so ridiculous. And I've seen people down there. I've had some people down there take classes from me that were more advanced than I am. I mean, they're totally wide open and having face-to-face contact and everything like that. And they're giving me this story that they can't ascend because they have to come back in a white body, and that was perpetuated, by churches and other people over the years. And it's kind of sad because on a soul level, we're all the same. We all came from the same source, and we all go back to the same source. And this is just a meat sack, this body. It's a multicolored meat sack that we're in. And to say that you are not evolved enough because of your culture or your color or whatever is ridiculous.
You're a minister. Why not start the ECETI Church of Palladia?
Yeah. Well, one thing is people realize about me is there's nothing to join. I don't have any followers. People say, how many followers do you have?
Right.
And I tell people there's nothing to join here. And so I don't believe in followers. I think people need to lead themselves. And the last thing I'd want is to people to follow me, because everybody has their own unique purpose for being here.
Right.
And they need to get in touch with that. So when people ask me, how big of a following do you have? And I say, well, if I do my work correctly, hopefully none.
What was the that church? I know that you followed this last year, the Church of Pasta, right? With the spaghetti god. Do you guys remember that?
I heard something about that.
It was actually, not only was it a legit church, but they had, like a congregation. It was like big.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and I always tell people kind of, it's very, very important to do your own research and maintain your own personal connection with spirit, whatever name you want to give it.
Right.
And not give your power away to others, because there's so many people out there that will take that power and end up using it against you. It's just like politics.
Sure.
It's the same thing. There's UFO politics, and I'm sure you've seen that, a lot of the UFO researchers eat their young. They don't agree on anything. And it's very competitive, and it's a very sad field in one way. And I know with a lot of people, I really piss off a lot of people, and I don't do it on purpose. I just have a larger perspective on what's going on, and there's a lot of jealousy and out there. But the way I look at it is I don't really care what they think. I'm just here to share my experiences and what I know, and people can either use it and help expand their consciousness or don't. I'm not attached either way.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever, it's probably going to pop up here in Twitter. There is one of my favorite pictures is it's at Contact in the Desert, like 4 years ago. There's a picture of me with I can't remember who's in the picture, but I think it's Stanton Friedman, Nick Pope, Mike Barra, somebody else, and myself. But in the background is James Gilliland doing the total photobomb. You're in the background, and you're looking right at it. It's one of my favorite pictures, and it's not us in the foreground. It's you in the background. It's classic. We'll get it posted up here. I should actually send it to you. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to James Gilliland.
Hi, this is Maria, and I'm calling from San Jose. I just wanted to say that I'm a Hispanic woman.
Right.
And there's not a lot of me's out there who are involved in that stuff. And I kind of wanted to pursue that conversation you were having. I do agree about that the Latina women and the Latinos are more open as further south you go, meaning like Latin America and so on, because I lived abroad. But living here in the U.S. and the Latino population here, I find that they're a lot more closed off to this kind of topic, to this kind of activity, because it's really shunned upon among those that live here in the United States, which is really odd.
Why do you think that is? Well, why do you think that is, Maria?
It's got to be a culture thing. I can tell you, I channel. I've done Reiki. I've done a lot of the alternative stuff, and then within my family, I'm going hell in a handbasket according to my family.
Right.
Yeah. So, I obviously don't.
Well,
that.
It goes back to the churches. It goes back to all of that is kind of shunned by the churches because you're stepping outside the box, and they control that box, and they control the other generations, the older generations too, as well. And the younger people are coming out and going, whoa, wait a second. There's a lot outside this box that I want to explore. And also too, in the United States, it's there's just a lot of, believe it or not, like I was saying at the ranch up there, it's a very Baptist community, and they're told not to embrace this, for a while there, when I first got there, I was the devil, and all these rumors are going up from everything from animal sacrifice to you name it, and I go, what are you talking about? And one rumor was one of my horses died, and I was out there, basically with the horse praying, and the horse actually got back up and was doing really well for about 2 weeks, and then it died later. And they were saying that I was sacrificing the horse and all. You couldn't believe it. It was a very intense experience for me because it was like my best friend just died, and I'm being accused of sacrificing my best friend in a way. And it's sad, but there is a mindset, and a lot of it's fostered by the religions, and they see everything as black and white. It's either God or the devil, and they either blame or give credit to God or the devil for everything. And there's not a lot of personal responsibility. And if you explore anything outside the box, then you're working with the devil. That's because they don't understand.
You hit it on. You just hit it there, though. The culturally, you just hit it. It's either sent by God or sent by the devil.
But let me
not that personal responsibility.
I totally get that.
You hit it.
I totally get that, Maria. But let me ask you this. And this is the photograph James just got posted. I'm going to retweet this right now. That is hilarious. That is.
You have to send that to me. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'll get it over to you right. It's a classic photograph, man. Okay, so anyway, is this down in Central and South America? It's okay to talk about UFOs on television or chupacabra or the supernatural or the paranormal. It's all there, right? They'll photographs and the videos, and that's okay. But you cross the border and you come into the United States, and I think that the Latino community suddenly makes UFOs taboo. Like you can't deal with it up here like you can in Mexico or Guatemala, Honduras, or Belize, or Costa Rica, or Panama, Brazil, right, or Chile, or Argentina.
Yes, I absolutely agree. You get accused of going against the church here. Like the church for me, I was raised Catholic, although I don't follow it. I still go to family events where they have church events where there's baptisms and stuff. And when you walk in, they're complete zombies, and the church highly discourages anything or any kind of discussion like that. And you're shunned. I mean, you are seriously shunned. When I go in, people don't want to talk to me because she's the weird one. And, I have a son. I have a 12-year-old son that, I teach this, and he knows even to this day, Mom, I get it, Mom, but you realize I just can't talk about this. I can't talk about this among my friends. I can't talk about this, with people I know. I mean, I've taken him to UFO conventions, and I've taken him to conscious life conventions, and he's totally open and completely natural around this kind of things. But he knows he has to keep a very separate life, or a separate. He can't share it. It's sad. It's sad because that is our culture here in the United States for our race, and and among himself, my son's he's half Swedish and half Latino, so he doesn't look Latino, but he identifies himself though. But he still can't talk about it. I mean, I know I don't know how to share and give him a courage to be okay with it and to find like-minded individuals at his age.
Right.
And then me. I mean, where do I find it? Other Latino women who follow and who believe in me. Everyone that I have these discussions with is either white. Again, and I've met at conventions or, at radio shows like this. I even did a web blog years ago where I worked on an astrology project where we had healers and so on. And I can tell you everyone on board was Caucasian, and I was the only Latino woman,
Well, Maria, before we hit the break here, let me get a couple of questions out here to you. Are you an experiencer?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So without getting into, I don't need to know, but what you've experienced. Have you gone to your parents? Do your parents know about this?
I've gone to my mother. My father would freak out. My mother is an experiencer as well. My parents are divorced, so my father I believe that he's never had any experience from just my understanding and my just the way I see it, because I'm intuitive. My mother is, and then I've learned that my grandmother is as well.
Wow, that's very interesting. What about your brothers and your sisters?
My sister and my brother are still I have one sister, one brother younger. They're both still very attached to. They're very awake, but they're scared.
And
they're frightened.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting here, because you bring up being raised Catholic, and the Latino community when it comes to the Catholic Church, and trust me, I live in Los Angeles, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's not. We have all the missions up and down the coast, as you know, Maria, and so it has been here for hundreds of years, and it is firmly entrenched. That being said, we know about the comments that the Pope and recent popes have mentioned about ET and the universe, number one. Number two, we know that the Vatican, what they did to Galileo, we know this, but yet they have observatories now that they paid for and fund. And so they have an obvious interest, and they control such a large part of the globe, right? The Catholic Church is huge. And
it's huge. And they have such influence.
Yeah, so why not? How would they deal? Why not speak about it in church? I mean, if the Pope is going to talk about it and the observatories are there, why wouldn't a priest get up in front of his congregation and speak about this? I don't get it.
In my opinion, I have to think it's more of a regional thing. Yeah. It has to do with whatever diocese you belong to.
And James, what do you think about that? You're a minister.
Yeah. Well, basically, here's the deal. Everything has a frequency to it. All thought has a frequency to it. The lowest vibrational thoughts are fear, guilt, and unworthiness. And basically, unfortunately, that's what is taught in the church. You're supposed to fear everything, fear the devil, fear God. You're guilty, your original sin. There's no way you'll ever be able to, meet the mark, or add up to what the expectations that they set. The bar's raised pretty high because you all got to be like Jesus, to make it. And then so the unworthiness is you're never going to be worthy of connecting with God or having your own personal God connection because the fear and the guilt also factor into that. So when you're teaching fear, guilt, and unworthiness, you're actually doing anti-Christ consciousness. You're doing exactly the opposite of what should be done. And the bottom line is God is love. And I've experienced the source myself. I have my own near-death experiences. And I experienced to be the most loving, joyous, blissful energy. There's no words to describe it. It doesn't have an ego. It can't judge. It's beyond all of that. And it's the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness and all planes and dimensions throughout the multiverse. It's the wellspring from which everything comes out. And so, if they would teach that and teach unity consciousness and stop with the fear, guilt, and worthiness and the control programs by judging every other organization as being demonic or going to hell. I mean, there's 3 different churches in our area, and there's 3 different Baptist churches and a Presbyterian church, and they all think the others are going to hell, and they don't get along. They don't get along. They have the same guy. Jesus. They all worship Jesus. What's the deal? What did he teach?
Right.
Love your neighbor. Love God with all your heart. Love your neighbors yourself. He goes on these 2 teachings, like all the laws and commandments. Like what? How hard is that to figure out? He didn't say judge thy neighbor, condemn thy neighbor, all of these things. He said the opposite. So it's time for them to start actually doing the work, and letting go of the old control programs that they use to enslave the masses. And I think that is all going to come to a close here real soon.
Maria, thank you for the phone call. And, it takes courage to come in and bring up that subject. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Maria. Great phone call.
You have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. We're going to take a break. Hey, James, I need you to get to hang out here for a little bit of overtime. I wasn't planning on that tonight, but there's too much left on the table here. So
okay. Can
I get you to hang out for a few minutes?
I can. I have to take somebody to the airport, but I think I can.
Okay.
I'll double check.
Just give me 10 minutes. That's all you got to do. We'll be right back. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, who I guess is, he might be doing an Uber thing tonight. Are you, James? Is that what you're doing? Oh, there he is. We'll be right back. This is Fade to Black. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, ECETI Ranch. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Got the live video cam going, the bunker cam here in the studio. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. Hope everybody's enjoying the conversation tonight. And James, what I wanted to touch upon really quick before we depart tonight is, can anybody visit ECETI? I've gotten this request a few times tonight and a couple of emails that have come in. Can anybody visit ECETI?
Yeah, of course. All you have to do is go to our website and send us an email, or you can call the ranch. All the numbers are there. But yeah, it's open for anybody. It's very eclectic, and we have people from, again, all over the world that come to ECETI, and we have lecturers and authors and healers and people from everywhere come and do workshops and classes there. And we have our own little contact in the desert up there as well. We have some pretty big events happening up there, and do personal, transpersonal release sessions or counseling sessions and things like that.
And you just mentioned Contact in the Desert. It is quickly, in the last few years, turned into the event of the year. There's no question about that. What are you going to be speaking about at Contact in the Desert this year?
Boy, I'm going to be covering what's happening now on the planet. I'll talk a little bit about the global reset and what's really behind it, how that's coming about. I have connections with some of the grandfathers and the elders and the people that are really in the know about what's going on, and the humanitarian funds, and then I'll talk about the latest contacts and some of the 11th dimensional ships that are coming in now, and actually show some footage. When I went to Australia, we got some amazing footage, and I got a story from the Aboriginal people about the real history of Earth, and it's totally different than what we've been told.
So, like what? What are you referring to?
Well, they have these walls, and they're called the Gosford glyphs, and they have the whole history of Earth on these glyphs, and some are star glyphs, some are hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, but there are people that can read them, and they give the whole history. And it talks about the original Anunnaki coming, and they don't do time so much, but they're talking, 600,000 years ago or more. These original Anunnaki came. They're the ancient Lyrians, the tall ones. They're very tall. And they came and they found a knuckle dragger called the Denisovian man and added their genetics to him. And they were mining gold. They were mining gold and other things to kind of try to preserve one of their outpost planets, which is people call Nibiru and things like that. And then the second wave came in was from the Pleiades. And they came in and colonized the Earth. And then they're the ones, when they said they found the Earth human to be fair and took them as wives, those are the Pleiadians that came in. And again, actually added their genetics to the soup. And then there's actually 12 major star nations involved in the Earth, and not just the human genetics, but the plant and animal genetics as well. But it's a whole different story, which adds up with archaeology and biology and everything else. It all makes sense when you put that story, into the mix. Then it makes sense. But the other stories, Darwin's stuff and everything else none of that adds up. And there's creative evolution. Let's say there's evolution, there's creation, and there's intervention, and all of it was going on.
And as we start to move along through this journey together, and we're putting together the pieces that we have out there, not only Sitchin and the Sumerian text, but we have what's going on in Giza, and then of course Göbekli Tepe comes into the mix. We have the different sites in South America and Peru and Chile and certainly Brazil that is surfacing now in the jungles, all the way over to Australia, where these are starting to line up for us. Right, we are able to get the timeline together. But the different cultures are telling the same story. There has to be a progenitor to all of this, and it's starting to come to pass, isn't it? Are we going to start to be able to bring down the dogma that we have been fed through education throughout the years and start to write our own story?
Definitely. It's all coming down, and there are the beings that came here and genetically engineered and manipulated us also had their story, and they were manipulated as well. And it goes on for billions and billions of years. So I don't know where most of it goes back to ancient Lyra and those systems, but then they had their gods, you might say, or their interveners as well. So it's just an ongoing story that just keeps perpetuating itself. And there's been a lot of intervention here on Earth, some good and not so good. There's been some negative intervention as well. So once we get the big picture and see what's really going on, we can start making sense of everything.
What do you think about what's going on in Antarctica? Do you have any information there? There seems to be a lot of action going on right now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that is melting over there, and Atlantis was flash frozen. And when it was flash frozen because of the pole shift, and now they're digging up, a lot of the artifacts there, and they're finding out that civilization was not just humans. There's also extraterrestrials, everything involved in some extreme technology. And so that's basically what's happening there.
Do you think that, I totally agree with you with the melting of what's going on, that it can't remain hidden anymore? And we have a lot of, not only with Google, but other companies right now that are establishing satellites to cover the Earth 24 hours a day that you can go and access. It's a subscription service, right? You can go and subscribe and get any part of the Earth photograph that you want, right? Nothing is protected anymore. Antarctica was something that was just off limits to us, but now that's not the case. Do you think that they are starting to let us know what's going on down there and trying to stay in front of the story before something accidental happens where we get some real photographic evidence that is going to be pretty hard for the establishment to start to or to continue to deny?
Yeah, and I heard too that there's rumors that they're actually removing all the alien technology and bodies and everything else and bringing in other things to take its place to try to cover it up. But it won't be covered up. There's too many people involved in it, and too many people know the real story. And it's just like, they did a Time CNN poll back in the 80s when I was covering the UFO stuff, and they had like 86% of the people believe that UFOs exist and there is a government cover-up. When they had the UFOs flying over Texas, they did another poll, and it was the major news agency there, and it was up in the it's like 98, 99% of the people said, yeah, UFOs are real.
Right.
And when in Australia, I went on the main news, like Good Morning America, their version over there. I went on the main news and showed the evidence and the other things that I had. And, they started out very skeptical, but in the end, they're going, I'm coming. I want to come to the ranch. I want to see this myself. And so they did polls there, and they're in the high 80s. People, believing that and this is a real mainstream TV, that it was on. And we had Fox News come out and cover it, and all kinds of people. So, Hannity covered the activity here as well. So it's starting to get some legs.
Yeah, Sean Hannity is an alien. Yeah. Let's not make any mistake about that. Dazed wanted to know, you jumped past this really quick and didn't go back to it. What was the book that you were referring to earlier in the interview that you wrote?
I just wrote a book called Anunnaki Return that covers all of this and our ancient origins and how everything began in Australia, not in Africa. And it talks about all the different beings, and it also talks about the lower beings and how to avoid them and how to deal with them. But it's called Anunnaki Return, and I'm not sure if that was what he was referring to.
And all of your books are on your website?
Yeah. Or you can go to lulu.com or any of those, Amazon, they're all there. Lulu.com is the best one to go to.
There you go. Thank you so much, James, and I look forward to hanging out with... Oh, wait a minute. Did you see the picture? I posted it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's usually me. I'm on the outside all the time. I'm kind of like on the outside observing.
That is one of my favorite pictures ever, man. And I just got to tell you, it's just a precious picture. And there you go. It's classic, man. It's classic. There's a couple of more. Also, there was 3, 4, 5 of these that were taken from different cameras. I have them all. Uh-huh. That's just what went up in Twitter tonight. So there you go. Yeah. Thank you so much, James, and have safe travels coming back here to the States. I will say this: one of the things that Rita talks about every week here, when your name comes up, we've got to do a Fade to Black event up at ECETI. So we will talk about that. We will get that going, and we've just got to get up there to the ranch and come up and hang out with you. So we'll get that going. Other than that, safe travels back to the States, and then we'll see you at Contact in the desert in just a couple of short months. I can't believe it. We're in March. It's in May. That's it, man. We're a month and a half out. I can't believe it. Another year has gone by. Thank you so much, James, and be safe out there.
All right, thanks for having me on the show, and watch the skies and stay in the heart. It's going to get interesting.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, James.
All right, take care. Bye.
James Gilliland, everybody. ECETI Ranch. The website is eceti.org. Just go over to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on it right there. It'll take you straight over. It's a very comprehensive website. It's large. It's been around for so many years on the web, so it has accumulated just a wealth of information. If you go over to, and I go there all the time, if you go to ECETI and go to the website, go to the left and look at the column of pages that are there. I mean, it is long and it is extensive. It's a great website to just go and cruise around and check out. But again, if you want to go up and visit ECETI, anybody can do that. You can contact the organization directly through the site and go up there, take a tour, go up there, hang out, pitch a tent, go and make contact. It's an extraordinary website. All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines because of 323-825-5045. Because of the 24 hours that has come down on us here at the bunker. I think, today I did absolutely zero show prep. I didn't do any news. I didn't do that. I didn't do all the normal things that I do. And here we are at the close of the show tonight. So I'd like to hear from you. Give me a call, 323-825-5045. And let me know, what do you think about the membership area? How's the video going with the live bunker cam? This is the first time that we've done this. I remember, man, it's been a few years. We used to run a cam here in the studio years ago, and we stopped it for a couple of different reasons. One, there was a technical aspect to it that was hard for us to overcome. Now, because of Drew and the way that we've got things set up now it's simple for us to do, and it'll be automatic every single night. We don't have to do anything but just click, go, and it'll run live. The reason why we stopped doing it before, the activation and how it had to happen every single night, I just didn't want to deal with it. I had other things to think about leading up to the show. But now everything is automatic. The membership area is there, and it makes it smooth and wonderful. But how has it been? The audio, I need to hear from you, really. I need to know if the audio was good, if you've enjoyed it, and it's everything that we hope. We want to continually improve things up and going. Jimmy, the sooner you copy the format Joe Rogan does, the better. Nah. Sorry, Rick. I have no idea what Joe does or the format. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, man, that's an interesting thing to say, though. But I haven't checked out Rogan in a couple of years. So, all right, 323-825-5045. I'm almost tempted to. I'm gonna do this for you guys really quick. I don't know how easy or how this will work, but just to give you an idea of what the bunker looks like. All right, I'm gonna do this. Okay, check this out. That's how many computers are running in here. Okay, so that's you can see there. All right, there's computers over there. There's audio gear. You can see the computers coming down. This is my desk. This is me. I'm just holding the camera here. Okay, so there's that. So you have all of those computers. You have this. And then if I come around here, you can see all of the computers going this direction. And they come around and they feed all the way over to here. That just gives you an idea of how serious the bunker is, okay? This is no joke. This is a very, very, very serious setup. You can see all of the controls, all the wiring, and that's when I talk about the bunker and how insane it is with the technology. Now I think you kind of get a little bit of a vibe, right? Everything is just all of this information coming at me. But the beautiful part of having this setup is I am truly in here alone. Rita's studio is out and down the hall. She's there. I'm here alone. There's no windows. There's nothing. We're underground. And I'm in control. So, yes, I'm manning this phone system over here, this phone system over here, this here. This is feeding, just to give you an idea, this computer here just feeds our affiliates. So the radio signal goes out and goes through and out of this one. That computer there is running the bunker cam. This computer over here is running audio, commercials and breaks and things like that. And that all feeds into here. But I am doing everything myself. I'm clicking. Did you see how many mice that I'm running? They're sitting here. This box that is here that you may have seen briefly, this is our digital interface that feeds out. And so what I do is I collectively, on top of this, to put a vibe together, what kind of mixer is that? This is a Mackie Onyx. Now, just to, I could almost show you. That's a great question. Over against the wall, over here to my left. I didn't show you this. I don't even know if I can It's a little messy. There are another 4 Mackie consoles that are leaning up against the wall over there. Okay, so yes, and they're all Onyxes. Some are bigger than others, 8-channel, 16, 24. Those are over there. This Mackie Onyx that I'm using currently is one of the older models, but it's the same as yet. But I like the format. It's big and it leans up. The other ones are the new models that lie flat. So, and they're also bigger, so they take up more desk space. So what I wanted to say was this. That's a great question, Mackie Onyx. Is this on the digital interface, my A to D converters that head out to the world, right? I vibe with crystals. I do. So on top of this is one, right? Check that out. Look at that. Is that insane? It's insane, isn't it? See, I have to look at this at the monitor. That's one. Check this one out. Look at this. This is what I vibe when I send. So this sits on top of my interface. Look at the size of this bad boy. Look at that. Is that crazy? It's got power, man. It's got, that's quartz. That's Lemurian quartz. So that sits there. I have a little Egyptian cat. Look at this. I want to show you little things in the bunker here. Maybe, there you go. So that's from a tomb over in Egypt. I have my little alien sculptured dudes. This is it's a little gray golfer, right? See his golf clubs? Let me hold it still here. Maybe it'll focus. He's got his golf clubs. So he sits here. And I just thought I'd share this stuff with you because you guys never get a chance to see inside of the bunker. So this is what goes on here. So here's my little gray football dude. Can you see him? Got a football. Little gray dude. Got that. And then I have my pyramid. This is for the power, right? So this little pyramid guy, he sits here. So I have all of this crystal going on. And then I have my skulls. So I have this guy. Huh? Is that cool? Here's that. And then I have this skull. And this guy's brain on the inside. Oh. It jumped out of my hand. He's got a brain. It's on the inside. Look at this. Can you see it? On the inside, there's this brain. Totally cool. So he sits next to, he's always charging my other gray skull there. So all of that, this crystal energy sits on top of the AD converters that send out the signal to the world. And I try to just get this energy that's going on here. And I believe that it is real. So that's my collection of stuff over here. Now, I want to show you a couple of other things that are pretty cool, too, that just sit on my desk. This is one. Check that out. Man, can you see that? How cool is this bad boy? So I've got that. It's King Tut. Got King Tut. And then one of my... the brain is on the floor now. And then I want to share this with you. Check this out. Also from King Tut's tomb. And this is very rare. There's a lot of gold, one of those gray skulls. I actually have Dan Aykroyd's Skull Vodka. It's actually here in the bunker somewhere. I'll pull that out at a later date and show that to you. But a lot of gold artifacts have come out of King Tut's tomb. And when Howard Carter was there, they spent 2 years cataloging things. And some of it has been kept secret. And I have one of those artifacts here in the bunker. Now, a lot of people don't know about this, but this is 3,000 years old. Check it out. It is a gold stapler. Yeah. A gold slimline stapler. Gold, solid gold, from King Tut's tomb. And a lot of people don't know this, but King Tut had staples, right? From King Tut's tomb. And I have it here. My solid gold stapler. How cool is that? All right. So that's my little tour of the bunker. And I just wanted to do this with everybody one time only. I've got a lot of cars, and I've got a lot of really cool things. Oh, and then this. Yes, and for the audio out there, it's a roadside sign that says "Caution: Aliens Crossing the Street." And then the last thing that you guys have heard about over the years, this is the sword that Alex Mistretta gave to me. Check it out. Okay, that's his real fencing sword. It's got the little protective thing. It's sharp here. But there you go. This is the famous Alex Mistretta sword that he gave to me as a gift one day live on the air. And you guys have never heard or have never seen it. You've only heard about it. But this is here too as well. Now, and the reason why, and it's really cool, see how it fits in your hand. The reason why I keep it in here, so when people come in and visit at the bunker, I'm able to intimidate them, and they can look behind me, and this thing is sitting and leaning against the wall. So there you go. Everybody, it's been a wonderful show. I'm glad that the bunker cam is running, that the membership area is solid. I do want to give you a couple of updates really quick. Over the weekend, we got caught up. I think we've uploaded another 100 commercial-free Fade to Black episodes. So those are there. Over the next week or so, we are going to be going backwards and getting the 100s filled in. They're all ready to go. It just takes a while to index and get all of that information there. But over the next week or so, we should have all 600-plus shows uploaded. I think right now we're at about 450. But we are current through last week. All right? And so, again, this is all for you. It's a lot of work. We're getting very close, and we're almost done. With that, I'm going to get out of here. I have to spin around now because I've got to look at this other computer. And hopefully by tomorrow, that'll be in another spot, and I'll be able to look at it somewhere in front of me. It's been Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Very special thanks to James Gilliland of ECETI Ranch. Thank you for coming in tonight. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady Bidell. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, or copied, used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.